presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown, Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Oregon is going to the Super Regional. It was a great weekend at PK Park, and Oregon took care of business in what was really a Pacific Northwest baseball showcase. It was a whole bunch of fun at PK Park. The atmosphere was incredible. We're going to break down the entire weekend for Oregon baseball as they won 3 games in a row to punch their ticket, going to Austin, Texas for the Austin Super Regional, and it will be a slugfest. The Ducks now 2 wins away from advancing to Omaha for the first time since 1954. Yeah, this was a great, stellar weekend of Oregon baseball. We'll break that down for you on the show, as well as some track and field news, as we are just over a week away from the NCAA Championships here in Eugene, and Oregon put a lot of qualifiers into the field. They're going to have a pretty good chance to walk home with a few national titles as well with the work that they did at their regional round over this past weekend. Ryan Milano here with you on Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio. It is a big-time weekend for Oregon. It felt like the last true celebratory weekend of the year. It's the last Oregon-hosted event, and it was an NCAA event. So there's one more, I guess, with the NCAA Championships coming up next week. But it felt like sort of the end of the athletic year in a sense, because Oregon, there was a chance if Texas would have got upset that there would have been more games at PK Park, but it felt like this was, all right, your last chance to close the book on the Oregon athletics year, at least for this team with Oregon baseball. This will be the last week of Duck Insider, a programming note. We always take it up to the Super Regional round and to those NCAA track championships and preview those for you. So this is going to be the last week of Duck Insider, and what it means is that we will be talking a lot of baseball before Oregon goes and plays Texas. How did Oregon get here? Well, the Ducks played great baseball, and they did it in a couple of different ways. But it felt like the baseline and the foundation of Oregon to win this weekend was great pitching. And we're going to go in a bit of reverse chronological order, because Oregon started off against Yale, got a big win against Yale, then against Washington State, won tight against Wazoo, and then won tight again against Oregon State. And I think we should start here with the atmosphere. The fans were incredible. It was a sellout every game that Oregon was a part of. PK Park was packed. 25,050 fans across the 6 sessions at PK Park, and that impact was felt. It was felt in all 3 games, but I don't think it was felt any more than in the game against Oregon State. The game against Oregon State, it felt like there were a few RBI in this game. I think that they all should have been credited to the fans, especially in that 3-run 7th inning. Let's break it down. First off, a 4-1 win for Oregon against Oregon State in front of that incredible atmosphere, but it didn't start out great for Oregon. Miles Gostola got the ball on the hill, and it was a little bit rocky. It looked like it was going to start like an outing by Cal Scolari on Friday, which we'll touch on in a moment, but Oregon State had momentum. Oregon State scored first. They got a run in the 2nd inning, and it looked like they were going to score more. They had runners on the corners and 2 outs. They tried a steal of second base to try to attempt to steal home on a 1st and 3rd play. Ryan Cooney cuts the ball off. His throw to the plate is a bit high, but how about the athletics of Berkeley Mabius? He leaps up. His foot lands on the runner. No, you are not allowed to bring that hand home. I'm going to tag you. I'm going to get you out. And it was a big-time out to give momentum to Oregon. The Ducks then in the next half inning would score a run of their own. It was Drew Smith who hit a single through the right side to drive in the first run of the game for Oregon. Made it 1-1 at that point. But even then, the same way that Oregon State had their opportunity stifled with a run cut down on the base pass, Angel Aya got aggressive on that single, trying to go first to third. Great throw from right field. He got thrown out. It was great baseball throughout the course of the game, and it went back and forth from there because Miles Gostola really settled into his outing. He struck out the side in the third and cruised from that point on. He tossed 6 innings of 1-run ball. He struck out 8. It was a great outing for Oregon Sunday man and Miles Gostola. Still tied at 1 going into the 7th. This is when Oregon broke it open against Isaac Yeager, the reliever for Oregon State. He came in, walked a man. Then he allowed a crushed ball by Junior Lawaki, which was a tremendous diving play and left. Tip your cap to the left fielder for Oregon State to get that ball. Then Maddox Maloney, an infield single. Then a walk of Jax Jimenez. All of a sudden the bases are loaded, and Oregon State goes to the bullpen. They bring in their reliever, and Albert Robles. And PK Park got rocking. Albert Robles could not throw a strike. He walked Jack Brooks. Oregon takes a 2-1 lead. Then he walks Ryan Cooney, a 3-1 lead. Angel Aya puts the ball in play, an RBI fielder's choice. The Ducks are up 4-1. It was a huge inning, and it felt like the fans impacted the game more than anything Oregon did on the field in that inning. Great job, fans. You're a huge reason why Oregon won this game, because from there, Luke Morgan was in control. He tossed a scoreless 7th. Tanner Bradley came in. He allowed a hit, but navigated around a scoreless 8th. And then Devin Bell in the 9th. He came in, he got the final out, he got his 12th save of the year, and Oregon earned their way to a super regional. It was a euphoric feeling. The celebration was incredible, and I'm just glad the season's not over. Oregon beating Oregon State feels a little bit better. It felt like there needed to be a rubber match between these two teams after the third game that was supposed to be played in Hillsborough between these two teams got canceled due to a tragedy with Oregon State's program. So that game wasn't played. We got the rubber match, and Oregon won that rubber match with this win, a 4-1 victory to punch their ticket to the Super Regionals. Coach Wazakowski, his thoughts of traversing to the 3rd Super Regional in 4 years for Oregon baseball. The Ducks keep getting it done, and they did yesterday. Here's Waz in his post-game reaction.
Yeah, we were really blessed tonight. You know, the blessings are countless, really, to be around these guys. This team is a very special team. You know, the team that we played tonight is an outstanding program, as we all know, and we have respect for that. And we really embrace the opportunity to be able to take the hardest path. And I'm really, I think this locker room is really special to embrace the hardest path, not wanting an easier opponent or a different scenario or whatever, but literally wanting the toughest road possible. And I think they've embraced that to go up against a very, very historically strong program and do it here at PK Park, where the fans were just unbelievable, you know, and to be a part of just the growth of this program is really phenomenal. And the last thing I'll say is this, just for the guys like Drew, that's a senior, and that's going to be his last memory at PK Park with those fans. You know, fans, you killed it. You know, you're giving our guys that are out of eligibility or may get an opportunity to sign professionally to experience PK Park and their last games at PK Park. That way is really fantastic. And we just want to thank the fans and all the supporters for everything that they've done for our program. We truly are grateful.
For Coach Waz, postseason pitching has kind of defined seasons over the past 2 years, but to get the performances that you did out of both your bullpen and your starting pitching over this weekend, I think it's 4 earned runs across 3 games. What does it say about the job Coach Flo has done with his staff and the staff you've assembled?
Yeah, it's been amazing, right? He's done a tremendous job. He's an extremely smart, up-and-coming young coach. We knew that he was very, very good with the development of the pitchers that he had down at the University of San Diego before he came here. Actually, 2 of the better pitchers this year in the entire country were from his tutelage, right? The Logan Redmond kid who was at UCLA that, unfortunately, it seems like he's a little tender or something like that, but probably could have very well been National Pitcher of the Year if he continued his progress and his growth. And him and Cal Scolari were 2 of his disciples. And, he did a lot of other great things too when a guy like that is is producing as many draft picks as he was at the University of San Diego with a friend of mine and a very good coach, Brock Ungricht. It said a lot, and enough for him to come and earn this opportunity. He's earning everything that he's doing here, right? He's got the buy-in of the players. I think his personality is really one that embraces others, and he's a great communicator. And him and Dan Straley, I think, have just been marvelous for our pitchers. Miles Costola tonight, and Luke Morgan, Tanner Bradley, and Devin Bell tonight were tremendous. And the pitching that we received in this regional is special, as you indicated.
Yeah, Waz, just to build off the pitching question, I think your starters went almost 17 innings combined, 27 strikeouts, only 1 run among your starting group. What was just working in particular all weekend with the guys that kind of set the table for the whole game?
Well, probably a really good question for Miles too, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but it looked like they were, commanding the fastball, throwing a secondary pitch for a strike and getting it out of the zone when they needed to, and their mentality was tremendous. Miles, I challenged a couple weeks ago to quit acting good because he's not good. He's great, and he needed to act that way. And I think they did this weekend for sure. And down the stretch, they've been outstanding. We got tremendous pitching in the Big Ten tournament, and even before that, you could just see it coming together. And the momentum of the team is one that I'm really thankful that we're getting this blessing to be able to continue to play and be around these guys every single day. Because I just feel like we haven't even reached our potential yet. And that's when you just want to really dig in with the guys and be with them more, and that was one of my, really one of my prayers was just, can we stay together longer, and continue to grow and develop as people and as players and as a team, because these guys are just grinders. They're grinders on the field. They do a great job in the classroom, and they do a great job in the weight room. And I mean, everything about these guys is all about the program and just growing this program. And that's what we're trying to do. And so we took a small step tonight.
How big was that 6th inning at bat in particular to end there? Because you're checking over at first, obviously I guess guarding against the potential for the runner to go, to end up in the strikeout, and then how big were those at bats against him in the 6th and the 8th? Yeah.
And we just figured in that spot, James, that, Hay was one of the couple of the guys, obviously tall, had leading the club in stolen bases, but Adam is a fast runner as well, and he was a guy that has double-digit steal attempts, and so if we were going to pick right, they were going to pick right. They were going to have to pick the right pitch, and we were going to make it easy on them. Not in that spot, no way. And just, Miles, I don't know if he had that in him when he first got here, just to continue to work. And at one point in time, that probably wasn't his greatest strength, controlling the running game. And he dotted every single throw. He did everything that we asked him to do. He kept his cool, and he was able to locate his pitches. And, Galloway's a tremendous hitter. He really is. He's a tremendous hitter. You're right about the strikeouts on him tonight. I think we got him 3 times, and that guy's a really good player, and he puts the ball in play a lot. You saw that in the earlier game today. He was the glue for the team. That's why they probably advanced, is because of his at-bats in the first game and him putting the ball in play to drive runs in. But I just thought we made really big pitches throughout the game. There was a lot of high-stress innings. That crowd was just unbelievable. I don't know what it was like to be on the field. It's obviously a lot quieter in the dugout, but, we talked about mental toughness and controlling just being able to control yourself before you can control your performance. And I think our guys nailed that tonight. And then when you saw Morgan and Bradley and Bell, and they all came in and they did the same thing, and you saw them using the breath and just controlling their own actions, I thought that was really the key to the game, especially when we were able to extend the lead in the inning and just lay off of a great closer, right? That guy's really legit. Robles has got tremendous pitches, and we were just able to lay off pitches that maybe some other guys this year haven't, to earn some walks and extend the lead that way.
Coach, in a game where both teams have 7 hits, what's the biggest difference in your mind?
Mental game. Yeah, mental game. Just being in control of yourself to where you can execute. It's what it came down to today. The stuff that Brian Kane I've learned from and Ken Ravizza through the years is critical, and the guys grabbed a hold of it. Some teams don't. These guys did. They understood how valuable it is, and I think that's what carried our team through tonight.
You've really felt throughout the course of this year the team really embrace what the coaching staff is sort of preaching to them on how they want them to go about their business and operate in the game. And I think it really showcased itself over the course of the weekend. A disciplined group that won the mental game and ultimately came out with a 4-1 victory against Oregon State in the regional final, punched their ticket to the Super Regional in Austin, Texas, facing up against the 6-seed Texas Longhorns. Don't know when that series is going to be yet. It's either going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Presumably, probably going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it was one of the first Super Regionals that's set, but we won't know exact times and slots until all the other games from around the country finish up throughout the course of today. So we'll probably get that late today, and we'll have it announced for you presumably on the show coming up tomorrow on when Oregon is going to play in this Super Regional against Texas. Nonetheless, it's going to be fun getting back to a Super Regional. Those players that got Oregon through that game, we're going to hear from them after a quick timeout on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best thing you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, I left my heart in Oregon. Yeah, I left my heart in Oregon.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you after a tremendous weekend at PK Park. I genuinely think that was probably my favorite weekend I've ever had at PK Park. There was postseason atmosphere. Oregon won all 3 games. It was a great environment at PK Park. I ran into Ian Umlaut in the parking lot when I was coming into the studio today, and I was like, dude, wasn't that awesome? He's like, I don't think I've ever heard PK like that. I certainly have never heard PK like that. That was incredible at PK Park. Great job, fans, helping Oregon will them to a victory in the regional final. That was incredible over the course of the week, and getting to hear from some big-time players that came through in yesterday's game. Jack Brooks, the go-ahead RBI walk. Drew Smith with the RBI single earlier in the game. And Miles Gostola, who dealed a brilliant 6 innings, allowing just 1 run and striking out 8. Those 3 big reasons why Oregon won that game against Oregon State and are now advancing into a Super Regional. Let's hear from that trio.
Given what went down last year here in the Eugene Regional, you being a senior coach mentioned this is your final member here at PK Park. Can you just sort of compare the emotions between the letdown of last year to the joyousness of this year? And also, does it mean more beating Oregon State in this game for you?
It's a good question. Last year was last year, and this is a new team, and I think we brought a different, just a different feel to this weekend. And I think the leaders on this team really took what we learned last year and really applied it to this year, and just went for it, took that step, and we have great players all around the field, and just going for it the right way is basically what we did this weekend. And Oregon State's a great team. It's a great club. And like Coach said, they're a great program. It does feel good to beat those guys just because they're, 45 minutes down the road. But, yeah, it's just a great win.
Hardly anybody strikes out Jacob Galloway. Only you're the third pitcher to ever strike him out multiple times in a game. How big was that sixth inning at bat in particular to end there? Because you're checking over at first. Obviously, they, I guess, guarding against the potential for the runner to go, to end up in the strikeout and then one.
Well, I just want to first say all glory to God. I'm so grateful to be here, just be next to these guys, play for Waz. It's an amazing feeling to be here. And to go down to that at bat, I mean, that's a heck of a club on the other side. And great at bat. Like he's fouling off pitches left and right and putting up a good fight. He had a phenomenal approach against me, I thought. And having Burke back there, he's such a great presence to have, and is just a comforting guy to comforting targets and whatnot. It's so easy to hit spots with that guy back there.
Jack, what did it mean to you to, have that moment in the third inning, bringing home the tying run just a couple minutes after, Oregon State gave you your first deficit of the weekend?
Yeah, I was basically just doing my job, get on base, and I got teammates around me like Drew Smith who hit me home, but I'm just doing my job to get on base. And it's a thrill to be out there with those guys and just to be able to be with the team. And like those guys are pumping confidence into 24/7. And after a scoring run like that, like walking through the dugout, those guys are just pumping you up, and it just felt great. It was unreal, actually.
Miles, being a Pacific Northwest guy, does it hit any harder that the path to advancing meant knocking out two Pacific Northwest teams? And could you also just talk about the pride of bringing your Pacific Northwest team just to the next round?
It's a fantastic feeling to move on regardless of who we play. And I think Waz has done a fantastic job of coaching our mentalities, not necessarily to play against the opponent, but to play against the game itself. And yeah, it's a great feeling to beat the team down the road, along with Wazoo, two phenomenal clubs. They had great years. And honestly, it's a great feeling to move on and represent Oregon. Just a great ball club overall, and I'm really excited for what we're going to do in the future.
Miles, when the crowd's revving up like that during at-bats for both teams, what's just kind of the difference for a pitcher between thriving off of that intensity versus maybe getting lost in it or overwhelmed by it?
The crowd tonight was fantastic. I felt them on every single pitch. I almost felt like they carried me through some of that ball game when fatigue started to set in. It was amazing to be a part of. But I think the key is just not letting the game speed up, really working on getting my breath under me. And I credit this coaching staff a lot. I think at the start of this year, I'd let the environment get to me sometimes and make the moment too big. And I think over the course of this season, Waz in particular has really worked with me on not allowing myself to make the moment too big and really just being present, getting my breath, and taking it one pitch at a time.
Jack, you were in a really clutch situation there, drawing that walk in the seventh inning. Can you walk me through the mindset of, just staying level-headed in a spot like that?
Yeah, Oregon State's pitching staff they have a legit staff. They're coached well. Going into that at bat, I relied on our coaches more than anything. They kind of drew up our game plan for what we were going to do for that at bat. And the guys before me, they all did their job. They got on base. So at that point, it was just time for me to kind of go out there and just let my game play. And I give all the credit to the guys in front of me for doing their job, and I just had to go up there and have a good at bat.
Drew, you've been waiting for 4 years for a moment like this back here on the camera. You've been waiting for 4 years for a moment like this to walk out of PK Park, a senior, a Eugene Regional champion. In all that time, I would imagine you've been dreaming of something like this. Just what did it feel like for you to run out there with your teammates, to know that you guys were Eugene Regional champions, and to share this moment in your final season with this program, with this group of guys?
This place is very special, and it was a place I wanted to go to since I don't know how old I was, 5 or 6. So getting recruited here and then actually getting on campus and meeting the coaches and being a part of this place is really special. It's deeper than just family, and it's it's just something really special. It's friends I'm going to have for the rest of my life. Relationships that I've built over the last 4 years are intangibles that you can't really get anywhere else. So had chances in high school to not even come to this place, and looking back on it, I'm very happy I did decide to come here because this has been the greatest 4 years of my life, and I don't plan on it ending anytime soon. So
You could have signed.
I'm glad I didn't, because
Could have signed last year too.
These last 4 years have been incredible. I'm just going to leave it at that.
What a cool sentiment. I loved the back and forth between Watts and Drew Smith. Like, Drew Smith could have gone pro last year. He's that good. And there were a lot of things he wanted to develop with his game. I mean, he has really grown as a defensive third baseman. He got to showcase that. Last year, he's banged up with injury. He was in the outfield. It wasn't necessarily his natural position. It didn't feel like the true ending that Drew Smith's time in Eugene deserved. This feels like a great, not final chapter. There's still a few chapters left to write, but one of the great beginnings to the last true triumph of Drew Smith's story in Eugene. It's been cool to watch him develop. Now a 3-time all-regional tournament teamer. We'll get to the all-regional tournament team coming up in a bit, but first we got to talk about the Washington State game when we come back. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ron Milano here with you on a Monday after a stellar weekend at PK Park. My goodness, Oregon headed to a super regional going up against UT Austin, Texas, and the Longhorns waiting. Oregon matching up with the Jim Schlossnagle team in the super regional again. Jim Schlossnagle was the head coach at Texas A&M when Oregon went to the College Station super regional, and Oregon ended up losing in that super. Now he's with a different Texas school. Oregon's going to get a chance at a little bit of get back against a Jim Schlossnagle team. Excited for this weekend coming up in the Super Regional. It's only possible because of the work that Oregon did throughout the regional round to get there. We just talked about the regional final victory for Oregon in the win against Oregon State. Well, to get to a regional final, you have to win a 1-0 game. And the Ducks did against Washington State. A 4-0 victory against Wazoo in what was a true pitcher's duel. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, the picture is Junior Milwaukee. I think the picture for this graphic should have been Will Sanford, because Will Sanford was lights out throughout the course of this game. Both Sanford and Luke Myers, the pitcher for Washington State, took a no-hitter into the 5th. It was a blistering quick pace because both guys were sitting down the opposing teams in order. Oregon finally broke through offensively in the 5th inning as Berkeley Mabius doubled. Maddox Maloney reached on a walk, and then Jax Jimenez drove in the go-ahead run with an RBI single. That was all that Will Sanford needed because Sanford stayed elite throughout his entire outing. He only allowed 1 hit in 6 of the 3rd innings, and he struck out 14 batters. 14 strikeouts for Will Sanford. It was a career high. He delivered one of the most dominant starts in Oregon postseason history. It tied for the most strikeouts by a Duck in a regional round, tying him with Jason Wrights from last season with 14 Ks, and it was tied for the 4th most strikeouts in a single game in Oregon history. 14 is 4th most, and at one point, Joey and I were talking on the broadcast. We were like, 20 strikeouts is the record. If Will Sanford gets his pitch count down, like he is running through. And I don't think that David Peterson's 20 was ever really in question, but it was that type of stuff early for Will Sanford. He was that good. He became the first Duck to strike out 6 consecutive batters since Brock Moore did it on April 30th of 2024. Will Sanford started the game by striking out 5 batters. Then he allowed fly out, ground ball, he hit a batter, and then he responded to that by striking out 6 in a row. It was elite stuff from Will Sanford. His first strikeout of the game was a looking K. Speaking of David Peterson, it tied him with a record for David Peterson with 33 looking strikeouts, the tied for most in Oregon single-season history. He then broke that record a little bit later in the game. Sanford was absolutely electric. He also passed Tyler Anderson for number 2 in Oregon single-season history with 119 strikeouts on the season for Will Sanford. He set the table for Tanner Bradley, who came out of the bullpen and tossed an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Then Oregon in the 9th inning broke through and really separated before Devin Bell came in the 9th. Junior Lewicki came up with 2 on base, and he hit his 2nd home run of the region. We haven't talked about the first because we're going in reverse chronological order. We'll talk about Yale coming up in just a moment. But Lewicki hit a late home run to put Oregon up 4-0. Devin Bell came in the 9th, got 3 outs, and ultimately ended up winning the game for Oregon, a 4-0 victory to send Oregon into that regional final against Oregon State and set them up to the Super Regionals. It was a great win for Oregon. The Ducks took care of business the way they needed to against Washington State, and they did it on the bump. The reaction from Coach Wazakowski after Oregon got a 1-0 regional victory to set them up for success in the postseason regional round.
Coach, you've had big games, big moments before. We've talked about the art and science of getting a team ready, loose but focused. How do you sort of approach, having the position you're in and getting into tomorrow and knowing that, you need one win?
It doesn't change, nothing changes. We just do what we do in terms of our work and our preparation. Tomorrow starts tonight, right? And, the guys I'm sitting with up here at this table, it's no surprise. Will's tireless in that weight room. The guy's unbelievable when it comes to lifting weights and preparing himself between starts. And so it's not a shock that the guy's rolled out his best starts late in the year against Nebraska, against a really hostile crowd with 15,000 people out there. And then tonight with a different feel with the home crowd. And these other guys are just, they're absolutely animals when it comes to their training. And so it's no surprise that they're having postseason success. And so our preparation is just going to be about what we've done the entire year. We think it's working. And it's probably just more about just really just enjoying the time together because, there's teams right now that are taking the jerseys off and that's obviously something that, we've been blessed with this year with this group of guys from the start. It's a pretty special group in that locker room, and these guys can attest to that. I think one of these guys said it earlier about it's not about the stats, about what guys are doing stat-wise. It's just about winning games, and I can vouch for that. They work that way, and they truly, enjoy each other's successes, and are pulling for each other left and right. So.
It was cool for Oregon to win that game against Washington State, and the players were a big reason for it. Will Sanford has 14 strikeouts. That's the MVP of the regional tournament. Jax Jimenez had a multi-hit day, and Junior Lewicki hit his 2nd home run in a late-game situation to get Oregon to that point. They spoke to the media as well as Coach Wazakowski after that win.
Will, you tied your career high in pitches tonight, broke your career high in strikeouts. How does each swing and miss energize you, as you feel your arm tiring out, your pitch count climbing?
No, it just gives me more confidence and more belief in myself. And, there is no tired when you got a crowd like that. Pure adrenaline. It was great. Just love it.
Will, you just spoke on the energy and the vibes in the stadium here tonight, but tell me about how it feels from the dugout to see guys come in behind you and really close things out in the ninth.
No, it's great. I mean, we have one of the best staffs in the country, and every time someone comes in, there's no doubt that they're going to get it done. Tanner and Belton and I was amazing. It was just fun to watch, especially Tanner picked me up in the 7th.
Jax, when you're coming up there in the 5th and they have that mound visit right before you're coming up to hit, what sort of kind of mental preparation are you going through when they're taking that time on the mound, and then just to kind of prepare yourself to, I think that was the first pitch that you saw in that?
Yeah, I just really wanted the moment when I was on deck there. Just really wanted the moment when I was on deck, and it's easy to have really competitive at-bats from the staff. Playing defense here behind is so competitive. So Bert with a really good at-bat in front, he goes leadoff double. Maddox works a great walk, so some really good at-bats in front of myself to put me in that position. I was really excited to come through for the team.
Junior, just for most of the game, just Washington State pitchers just had your guys' number in various ways, and so how do you go from that and seeing that to on the first pitch in the 9th inning where you've seen it all game long, just swinging and sending it dead center?
I mean, our coaches preach. It's postseason play. It's a fresh plate. We don't care about our stats. It's whatever we're going to do to win. And it was a great pitching performance for the other team, and our hitters, we grinded it out and got it done. I mean, we don't care what it looks like, but we'll get it done.
Will, up across 8 innings pitched now on the season. How do you feel your experience this year helped you be ready for postseason play?
No, it's been great. Just, not missing an outing this year so far and just building off of my freshman year. It just feels great to be this deep in the season. Just glad to be healthy. And, I mean, the mental workflow and Dan's done with me has been great, and it's working right now.
Yeah, Junior, this second straight day, you kind of extended the lead there in kind of the last inning you could. When you're coming up there, are you kind of smelling blood in the water? Like, what's kind of the mindset before those home runs?
Same approach as always. Stick right side, don't get too big, and they help my pitch. And that's honestly what I tell myself, just get your pitch.
Will, you finished off the 6th inning there with a strikeout. I think it was your 99th pitch of the day. You kind of put both arms into the sky. Did you think that was your last pitch of the game? And how much did you want to come out? You did come into the 7th, but like how much did you want to do that?
Yeah, I think pitch count wise, I think going into the 6th, we were kind of like empty the tank here, and but it was a great 1, 2, 3 inning. And then Flo came up to me and said, "Do you want to go out?" And I said, "Of course I do." So I was just really excited to go out there, and yeah.
This is for Jax. From a fielder standpoint, what was it like watching Will's performance? Did it get a little boring out there?
Yeah, especially in left field, just kind of sitting and watching. But especially with that crowd and how good he was on the mound, definitely really nice to just kind of sit back and enjoy. But I mean, that environment PK brought tonight with the crowd and how competitive Will was unmatched. It's the best there is in the country.
Could you see anything from him in terms of him being dialed in? Like, could you tell from where you were that he was on?
Yeah, it just kind of felt, different tonight. It's exactly what we saw the last couple of weeks with Will. There's no one we'd rather have out there. And you kind of see him hopping off that mound, like he's got the juice. And especially from the offensive side, Junior and I and the guys, like, it's really easy to come back and bring that same energy into the box. And that's what you see from your guy in the mound. So he's the guy we want to see from just everyone on the team. He leads by example.
Will, you didn't get an opportunity to pitch in last season's postseason. I'm curious, did that sit with you at all, as you're prepping for today, knowing that, it's the second straight year, but you didn't get an appearance, and to do what you did today is pretty stellar.
Yeah, I mean, I was just hungry to get out there and compete for my guys. There's a lot of juice definitely in postseason, and I just kind of built it off the crowd and built off my teammates. I was just trying to get them hyped up. I just love playing for this team.
Will, one of the strikeouts looking that you had made you the Oregon Ducks all-time strikeouts looking in a season record holder. Could you just talk about how your swing and miss stuff has evolved over the years, going back to last year at Oregon, but also just over your years in your baseball career?
Yeah, I mean, just early in the fall with Flo, Dan, just honing in on those pitches, and there's a couple of pitches I've developed late, and that's been really working. But truly, like, it's been a grind really from last year to this year and just getting myself better. But for the strikeout looking, a lot of those are because of Burke, so I give credit to them.
Oregon won that game against Washington State and earned their way into the regional final. The way they got into that game against Wazoo, they had to beat Yale first. We'll talk about that game when we return in second side on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Inside the Country Financial Studios, second Saturday, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We just got word Robbie Ahlstrom has got called up to the majors. That's super awesome. Ricky Nishida got called up last week. Now Robbie Ahlstrom, he's going to the Texas Rangers. Super cool. Great to see Oregon baseball succeeding both in the professional ranks and the collegiate ranks, with Oregon advancing to the Super Regional, and it started in the first game against Yale. This was a complete win, a 14-2 victory for the Ducks. Oregon had 18 hits in the game, an offensive explosion, and it was the first four hitters in the order. Combined between Ryan Cooney, Angel Laya, Drew Smith, and Braden Jacksa, Oregon, those 1 through 4 hitters combined for 13 hits and 8 runs batted in. Junior Lawaki also hit a 3-run home run and drove in 4. Cal Scolari started in this game for Oregon, but he struggled a little bit throughout. He didn't have his best stuff, but he continued to throw up zeros, 4 1/3 scoreless. Then it was Luke Morgan who came in, scoreless frame, Toby Twist with 3 scoreless innings, and Leo Ullman struck out the side in the 9th. It was a complete game, both offensively and on the mound for Oregon. Here's Coach Wazakowski's reaction after the one to get to 1-0 in the regional, the first win in the regional round on Friday. The reactions from Waz.
I was really impressed with the Yale Ball Club, especially Jack Oman. I mean, he was a young man's got a major league future for sure. Running the ball up to 97, 98 miles an hour tonight with command of 4 pitches. Pesky Ball Club, their coach has really done a quality job. I think this is his second conference championship and has won a national championship a couple years ago at a different level. The guy really knows what he's doing, and I was just really impressed with their scrappiness and their team. And obviously Jack Oman was tremendous and really, pleased with the effort, especially, the guys that are at the podium and other guys. I was impressed with the fact that our guys were able to pull away in the game. They're late. I thought that was really important. And then just be able to just get the lead early. I thought that was a really big key, especially with how they run their offense. So, yeah, just happy to be 1-0, and it's one game, but 1-0 in a regional, and that's a good start.
Coach, how critical are those 3 innings you get from Toby there late in the game?
Player of the game, and that says a lot, especially when, you got 3 freshmen that I think collected 8 RBIs out of the 14 runs that were scored. Yeah, when Toby does that, I mean, we just needed some stability. Cal fought through it. He made some critical pitches when he needed to, but he wasn't sharp, right? And Luke Morgan came in and did a tremendous job when he came in for Cal. Cal was at the end of it, and Luke did what he's been doing now down the stretch and kind of put the fire out. And then, Toby just came in and settled the game down, and that's really what we needed. And then Leo Ullman to finish the thing. I thought Toby showed Leo the roadmap, and Leo was dominant in the 9th inning, which was really great for that kid with as much as he's had in front of him with injury and all that. To come back and do that, I thought was really special.
Your guys' 1 through 4 hitters today I think had 13 hits total. Just when the top of the order is that locked in like that, what sort of kind of momentum does that give even to the rest of the lineup as you guys are moving forward in this thing?
Well, I mean, the top of the order, usually when your top of the order beats their top of the order, it's positive, right, in the game, and ours did tonight. And that's a lot of hits. That's a lot of hits for those guys to be doing what they did, and it was just quality at-bats. I was really impressed. They looked old, even though you're talking about several freshmen that are up there doing that. I mean, they didn't take at-bats like freshmen, and they don't look like freshmen either, but they didn't act like it tonight, which, I remember my first regional game and my third regional game as a player, and I still don't think I ever got any hits. And these guys to be able to do those things was really impressive, because I know what it feels like as a junior to be in those regional games and not be able to have success. And these guys, it's just young guys. Their future is incredibly bright. I'm fortunate to be coaching them.
After a win like that, on a stage as big as that, what do you look at to get better for tomorrow?
Clean slate, right? Just clean slate. Tomorrow's a new day. 1-0. It doesn't matter what the score was at the end of the day. 1 run or 5 runs or 10 runs doesn't make any difference. 1-0 was the goal today, and we accomplished the goal. So just going to start fresh tomorrow and nail it. And tomorrow starts tonight.
Coach, you guys, it was Yale's message as well, just going into the game, just the work counts and work at bats, and just also get hits in all types of ways. And in the game, just multiple full count walks, multiple bunt singles, but also long balls from Milwaukee. Could you just talk about just the variation in offense and how that helped you guys out tonight?
We pride ourselves in being a complete team, right? And no matter who it is, they should be able to bunt in our program, because if it helps the team win, then it should be valued. And we actually had a couple of players ask if they could bunt tonight for a hit, and we told them no. And so when you're coaching a team that are looking to get on base and do unselfish things like that, just to be able to win a baseball game, these guys really want to do something special for this community. And, it's one night, it's 1-0. We're not there yet. And we know that, it's a good start though. And I'm really fortunate with the group I coach. They're selfless. They really come to work every single day, and they love each other, and it's a really fun group to coach. It has been from the very start of this thing. It's been awesome. And even the last week when I talked to my wife, it was a night or two ago, she goes, "Well, how'd it go at practice?" And I said, "It's so much fun at practice. These guys are just improving every single day, and they just love being there. And no attitudes, no nothing, just a lot of fun to be with these guys."
Mark has a feel to be able to go and say, "Hey, I got a guy in the bullpen I can throw out there and trust that he's going to go get the job done."
Yeah, and for me to watch Toby out there on that stage killing it like he did, I mean, I was at his high school the day that he got hurt, right? And I saw him break, not only physically, but I mean when a pitcher, breaks, and he pops his arm, it's not just the physical. There's such an emotional and mental piece. And I was with his dad and his mom and him at that high school game, and I remember what that looked like, and it was years ago, right? And so to see him have the success he's had, not only tonight, but this season, it's been really incredible, because when you get connected with these guys, when we're recruiting them, and and then they actually show up to your campus, and then you see them do well. I mean, I still remember, sitting with these guys on their visits and being with their families and so forth. And it's so special for me to watch them succeed, because I know what they've gone through, but specifically Toby, when he has that arm injury in high school and he battles all the way back to where he's having that kind of success. And it's a no-brainer, Mark, to have the guy come into the game when he's, 91 to 94 miles an hour with a hammer and a changeup. It makes a coach look smart.
Coach, I know you talked earlier in the week about this being a very different team from last year, and clearly I don't think any of these guys, the two freshmen for sure, I don't think Toby played in the regionals last year. For you, given what happened last year, and I know this is just one game, do you feel a sense of either relief or just excitement that you were able to get back here and get a win in this regional?
Last year's team isn't fair to compare to this year's team. And I don't know if you're comparing them, but the feeling is good that we're on the winning track when it comes to a regional. I'm still proud of last year's club. They made a regional. When I first got to this school, they were hoping we'd make a regional, and we've made regionals now or super regionals for 6 straight years, and we've been one of the 10 teams in the country that have been able to be in a regional every single year, plus at least 2 super regionals. And so I think we're accomplishing a lot in this program, and yet, I'm excited that the media and the fans and everybody want more, because that means we're going in the right direction, right? And so for me, it was really exciting. I thought that's a great question. It was really exciting for me personally and to represent our team. I know it means a lot to these guys when they were being recruited to be able to watch us last year and not be successful in postseason play after being second in the country at the end of the regular season. It hurt our incoming recruits because, they hear that stuff, right? They hear that stuff. Oh, wow, hey, that wasn't good, this, that, and the other. And they wanted to make their mark when they first came to campus, and they've done something that last year's team wasn't able to do, right? So last year's team did a lot of great things, by winning a conference championship. Really proud of that group and some great individuals. We got a coach on that team that are out in pro ball, and now this team gets to make its own mark on what's going on, and hopefully we can do something really, really loud. 1-0 right now is where it's at, though, and so we're blessed to have this opportunity, and the blessing was in the work that these guys put in tonight. It was really neat.
Coach, was there any more reason why Jax Jimenez was taken out of the game? And if not, could you also just talk about having him back in the lineup and just him scoring a run, getting at-bats and playing most of a game for the first time in a while?
Yeah, Jax is a dog. He gets out there, and he's been limited for a little while, and he practiced all week long this week and was hitting tanks, and he felt great. And so we were excited to get him back in the lineup. At the end of the game, why do that? Because we really wanted to get Melosi into the game, and it was a great way for us to be able to do that, right, and get EC in the game. And it was a great way for us to get EC in the game because that dude flies, and he's an elite defender, right? So when we can have that guy and an unbelievable young Hawaiian freshman with Melosi, get him on the field in a regional environment. That's stuff that you like to do as a head coach. And, even Josh, getting him an opportunity at the plate. I think those things are really, I think they'll probably pay dividends at some point in time. Those guys are really good players, and I'm lucky to coach those guys.
It was awesome to see Oregon traverse through the entire regional. Yesterday, the postgame after the Yale game, we talked Washington State and Oregon State. 3-0 on the weekend, advancing to the Austin Super Regional. If you get to a super regional, it means you probably have a lot of people that made all regional teams. Telling you about them when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Studios stuck inside of OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're feeling good after a regional victory for Oregon. The Super Ducks going to the Austin Super Regional, and Oregon got some big-time performances to help advance to that Super Regional round. Will Sanford was named the MVP of the tournament. I felt bad for whoever had to pick the two pitchers that were going to be named onto that all-regional team, because you had Will Sanford, Washington State, their starter threw a complete game against Oregon State in the first game of the regional. Oregon got a great start from Miles Gostola yesterday. Wyatt Queen was really good for Oregon State. Oregon State starter and Morris on the first game yesterday was also really strong. It felt like there were so many really good pitchers. Will Sanford was the best of them all. His 14 strikeouts earned regional MVP for Will Sanford. Oregon also had 5 others that were named to the all-regional team. Braden Jackson was the first base representative. He went 4 for 11 with 4 runs batted in. Ryan Cooney, the second base all-regional teamer, 4 for 14 with 4 runs batted in over the tournament. Drew Smith, his third all-regional team selection in his career. He went 6 for 11 across the tournament with 2 runs batted in. Angel Laya made it for the outfield. He was 6 for 13 with 3 RBI. And Junior Lawaki was 2 for 11, but those 2 were a big 2. 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. 6 Ducks named to the Eugene All-Regional Tournament team. Also in action was Oregon Track and Field in the regional round in the NCAA Regionals, trying to get back here to Hayward Field for the NCAA Championships, and the Ducks did. 15 entries for Oregon, both between the men and the women. The women got 15 entries, headlined by Aaliyah McCormick, who qualified with a school record performance. Juliet Cherubet and Cassandra Atkins also had top 10 program outings. There are a ton of Ducks, 15 for the women, 15 for the men, that will all be coming back here to Hayward Field in a little over a week from now to be part of the NCAA Championships. June 10th through 13th at Hayward Field. Tickets are now on sale, so make sure you're at Hayward Field to cheer on the Ducks. Joey's got you tomorrow. Big day. Go Ducks.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National